Man's survival is dependent on three basic needs: shelter, clothing, and most importantly, food. Food is needed for the sustenance of life as it promotes growth and provides man with the energy needed for day-to-day activities. Owing to its importance, the present administration has put in place a number of policies and programs aimed at boosting agricultural yields and above all, making Nigeria self-reliant in food production. However, high agricultural yields is function of many factors, and most essentially quality seeds. That will be the focus of this episode of Frontiers. My name is Frama Panyi, and our guest is Dr. Zida Famo Ebiarede Ijimi, Director, Seeds Coordination and Management Services, National Agricultural Seeds Control, NAS. Glad to have you join us on the program. Yes.
Thank you very much.
The program continues in a moment. Please stay with us. Once more, you're welcome. Now let's get straight into the business of the day. Now it's impossible taking a look at agriculture without talking about seeds. Can you tell us what is seed or what are seeds?
Thank you very much. Seed, biologically speaking, is a mature oval that has been fertilized, that is having an embryo, having an endosperm, which contains the food reserve, and also a coat that is really protecting it. That is biologically speaking.
Okay.
But applying to agricultural context, it is any material that could be planted to generate and itself,
okay,
to produce itself when you plant.
Okay.
So any material that you can use to plant to generate its kind is seed.
Okay. Now, agronomists, they say that the quality of seeds, contributes to a great extent how healthy the crop grows. A good seed, they say, will give you a healthy, produce. Can you throw more light on this?
Yeah. A good quality seed produces healthy plants. What are the attributes of quality seed? That's what we have to really look at now. A quality seed is genetically pure. It is true to type. It is physically pure. There is no admixture. And also that it is capable of germinating. It is alive, and viable, that when you plant it will germinate. That's a good seed. And it is free from any form of disease. So with those attributes, when you plant, it is more so it is improved varieties that have the potential of high yield. So it is a question of garbage in, garbage out.
Okay.
If you are able to plant seed that is free from disease, you will be able to generate clean plants growing. But if it is a diseased plant, it will be weak in vigor, it will not germinate properly, and it will continue to produce seeds or grains that plant that is weak and diseased. So you won't have healthy plants growing. So that is exactly why quality seed is very important.
And just a follow-up question, is there a way to identify these healthy seeds and and to know which one is quality and which one is not?
Well, there are regulations that make, particularly when you are looking at seed and grain, which perhaps later time we'll talk, physically looking at it,
okay,
you will not see the difference until when you plant it out. That's the time you know whether that seed is alive or it is dead, that it cannot germinate.
Wow.
So that is the issue about seed and grain.
Okay.
So physically looking, we will not be able to differentiate. But through the regulations that we have, by labeling, by treating, by ensuring that the seed is able to germinate, that is viable. It is the third party, which is the seed council, that will now be able to verify those things and say that, yes, if you buy this, you are going to get the right quality. So, but physically looking at the seed, you may not be able to know whether it is alive or it is dead until you test it.
Now, we understand that seeds are categorized into different classes. Can you educate us on this and the class of seeds planted by farmers in Nigeria?
Okay. Yes. Seeds are classified into breeder, foundation, and certified seeds. The breeder seed is the seed that emanates from the breeder. There are scientists who have been able to carry out research and have been able to develop varieties. So that small quantity that comes from the breeder after release is what we call the breeder seed. So when they plant the breeder seed, you get the next generation that is called foundation seed. Okay. And this foundation seed is planted or produced by seed companies that have been registered by the seed council, that have the capacity to produce. They have a breeder that will supervise it, so that it will meet the quality criteria for that class of seed. So the progeny of the foundation seed is what we call the certified seed. This class of seed is produced by seed companies and other seed producers. And it is this class, we normally call it at times commercial seeds. Okay. It is this class that the farmers plant to produce grains.
Right. Now, for deeper educative purpose, can you give a very, very vivid, very clear difference between seeds and grains? You had earlier spoken about seeds and grains when I asked, can you identify which is a good, how to identify them? So that help us give us a clear, example, explain to us the difference between a seed and a grain.
No, there is an enigma we often say about seed and grain, and which is not all seeds are grain. Not all seeds are grains, rather. All seeds are grain, but not all grains are seed. Okay. It's an enigma, and it has its own meaning. The why we say this is, every seed can gradually become grain, but not all grains can be seed. Why is it said so? Because if a seed of high quality is kept, it deteriorates. And when it gets to the point that, okay, this seed cannot be planted, or if you plant it, you will not be able to get the right plant growing, that seed has become grain. That is, it is no longer suitable for planting. Maybe the viability has gone down, it is no longer alive, so if you plant it, it will not germinate again. Okay. So that is grain. Grain, perhaps, at times could be alive. When you plant, it may germinate, but it may not be alive. That is, it is dead. That
so
it can't germinate again. Seed at all times is viable. Once the viability of seed is not ascertained, it means that seed has become grain.
Wow.
You plant it, it will not germinate. So that is one distinct factor. So like I said earlier, must be alive.
Yes, must be alive.
So that when you plant, it will germinate.
So even if it looks like a seed, if you plant it and it doesn't germinate, it's a grain?
It's a grain you have planted.
Okay.
It's something that cannot germinate, they have planted, so it's no longer seed. So another issue I want to talk about is seed is produced through stringent regulatory process. While grain, you can just produce it maintain the field, nobody checks it, you get your grain, it goes. But seed is produced through stringent regulatory process, and which is handled by the Seed Council, which guarantees the third-party assurance that yes, what has been produced as seed has gone through the various processes, so that if a farmer plants it, you will be able to have the seed germinate, the right quality, there will be no seed-borne diseases. Those things are all assured.
So that is what you get from the council.
Yes.
You will give good produce.
Good produce. That is the difference between seed. But physically looking at it, you may not be able to. But there are some other things you can use. There may be some growth of fungi on the surface for those grains that have stored for long. You will see, once you see it, that it is not clean, you definitely know that this cannot germinate. So those are some physical things that you can use to differentiate. And most importantly, there is a third party that has the authority to say that yes, this quantity or seed lot has passed through the process of certification. That is it.
Now, owing to the activities of unscrupulous merchants, a lot of counterfeit farm inputs, may have found their way to markets. That's what you have just explained, talking about how to identify a good and a bad seed. What is being done by your organization, to prevent farmers from the purchase of these adulterated seeds? Remember, you have just said that even when you look at it physically, you can't tell the difference.
The adulterated seed issue is a very critical issue that the council has also been battling with. One of the efforts that we made is that we have a department in the Seed Council that is having the role of ensuring that fake seeds are removed from the market. And that department is called the Seed Inspectorate Department. That department has the mandate to educate farmers on the right seed, how to identify the right seed. Then, after that, they also go to the market, seed markets, to raid markets. We also go about campaigning, road shows to educate farmers on the use of good seeds. So these are some of the efforts that we will do. And when we see adulterated seeds, we seize them. There is this national program we normally have, that is National Seed Show, that will yearly, we really always hold that program that we'll call the National Field Day and the Seed Fair. And this seed fair, all these seized adulterated seeds are burnt publicly in order to deter others from really going into that. And another is that we prosecute anyone that is found culpable in that adulteration matter. And when found guilty, for first offender, there is a penalty that to deter them from doing that. First offenders are really penalized with a charge of 1 million naira.
Wow.
That is it. A repeated offense is either 2 million or 2 years imprisonment or both.
Wow.
So these are measures that we have really put in place to ensure that adulterated seeds are really rid of in the market. And also we use technology. There is what we call the seed codex. The seed codex is just like in the pharmaceutical now. We see when you buy a drug, there is a panel that you scratch and send what you see there to a specific place, and they will tell you this drug is genuine. So the same technology we have really brought into the seed industry, where we have that codex attached to the package of seeds that have been certified okay. So whoever that buys, a farmer that buys that seed, will scratch the panel and then send the code to a particular, the number to a particular code, and you will get immediate feedback. That we call electronic authentication.
Wow.
So you get immediate feedback that if it is okay, this spark of seed has been certified and it is okay for planting. You just get that feedback. And another thing to look at for is the National Agricultural Seed Council certification tag.
Okay.
It goes along with the pack of seed. So anywhere, any time that a farmer wants to buy seed and don't find the seed codex as well as the certification tag, it means that pack of seed is not seed. Okay. It is grain that somebody has packed somewhere to sell.
Dr. Zida Famo, we'll take a short break now. When we come back, we'll pick up the conversation. We'll take a short break now. We'll be back with the conversation in a moment. Welcome back. Now, the conversation continues with Dr. Zida Famo. Before I went on break, we were talking about seeds. Tell us rather, are quality seeds expensive?
To answer you directly, I will say no.
Okay.
Quality seeds are not expensive. Why do I say so? When you look at the inputs and the cost of production compared to the cost of the seed, it is very minimal. I dare to say that seed is even the least cost item among the inputs for production. Look at the situation of fertilizer. Farmers buy fertilizer of 50 kg up to 40,000, 45,000. They don't complain. But when it comes to seed of a kg of maize seed will go for 1,000, 1,200. The output you get from such quality seed is enormous. Because the use of a quality seed can really increase production by up to 40% and more. So if you can get value for what extra, that small extra that you pay for quality seed, it is worth it. So that is the way I look at it. Sure. But farmers, they feel that they have alternative. Fertilizers, they don't have alternative. They can save their seed and plant again. So they feel that if anything does go a little high, they will say, no, I won't buy, I will use the one I have. And they don't know that the improved seed responds to the application of other inputs faster and better and more efficient than the grain that they will use to plant, that they repeat every year. So if you have improved seed and that is of high quality, it responds to fertilizer application, it responds to good agronomic practices, and it enhances yield, it increases the yield because of the high potential of that variety of crop seed.
All right. Now, how can we preserve these seeds? How can we store them? Is there a particular way or method, you can, and how long, and for how long can you store them for before they get bad or before they expire?
Yeah. Seeds are supposed to be stored in a very good condition. Why is this so? Because they are living materials.
Okay. When you say good condition,
I'm coming to that. The good condition is that you put them in a place where you cannot, if you can afford air condition.
Wow.
Air condition store.
For seeds.
For seed, yes.
Wow.
Air condition store, it is even better, like this kind of environment that we are. Because as a human being, you need cool place. Yeah. The weather is hot. If you stay outside in a hot weather, you see how you feel.
Yes.
you've become restless, as if you are losing breath. It's the same thing with seed. Because it's living, you keep it in a hot place, it will begin to, it deteriorates faster. So you need to put them in a place that is ventilated, in a store that is ventilated, and you don't put them, the bags, on the floor, because seed is hygroscopic. It absorbs moisture from the environment. So if you place them on the floor, it absorbs moisture and activities begin to occur within the seed, and that accelerates deterioration. So that is why there is a need. And also, we'll talk about whether they expire. Yes, seeds do expire. The expiration is not that you can, if it's based on the fact that it has gone below. The attributes I mentioned earlier have gone below the threshold.
Okay.
Like for example, I talk of germination percentage. If the germination percentage is put at threshold of 90, and it has gone below 90%, it means it has expired at that level.
Okay. All right.
So that it can even, seeds can store. When it comes to storage, it can store depending on the condition, like I've explained earlier. Depending on the condition of the storage, it can store for even up to 1 year, and also the type of crop. Like there are oil crops, granite. These are, granite is an oil crop, so it doesn't store long when kept in the store.
Okay.
So, and also the handling. If, for instance, somebody goes to a seed company and buys seed, and he puts the seed inside his boot, he gets home, he forgot that he kept seed inside. So within 1 or 2 days is enough for that seed to go below the germination. It can even completely die. So depending on how you keep it and the type of crop, it can store for 1 year, it can store for even just 1 day.
Wow.
Is enough to destroy the seed if it is kept in a very bad condition, like the car boot I mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah. Before we go, I just want to mention on the storage aspect.
Okay.
We normally carry out the validation tests.
Okay.
So to ascertain the level of viability of stored seed.
Okay.
So we do that every 6 months.
All right.
That is the expiration aspect I'm talking about. So now, for normally stored seed, at 6 months, you have to test again to see whether it is still maintaining the level of viability.
That's a very important point.
It's very important. Yes, I have to add that.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We really appreciate you coming on the program. And we've come to the end of today's discussion. We have been talking with Dr. Zida Famo Ebiaride Jimmy, Director of Seeds Coordination and Management Services of National Agricultural Seeds Council, NASC. Thank you for being a part of the program. My name is Frama Panyi.